Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Well, as as I was introduced, I'm working for the British Council in Montevideo in Uruguay, and we're innovating with a system for bringing English teaching into schools, primary schools in Uruguay. So we're currently moving to teaching English in all of the primary schools in all of the country. So some 4,000 classes a week, which will be kicking off from next week. It's been 3 years in the making, and we're very excited about this latest stage in the expansion of our innovation. The innovation is basically teaching via video conferencing. Now, I'm coming to you today through Skype, which is a very rudimentary version of video conferencing. It sometimes works well, sometimes works not so well. What we do in the Plan Sabal English project is we use technology which is high-end video conferencing technology. I'm pointing at the camera and the codec of a video conferencing unit there. I'm actually standing in a teaching point. So this is the kind of space that a classroom, a remote teacher would teach from. It's quite small, but it's enough for a primary teacher to get up and sing and dance, and to also manipulate a computer so they can play videos, presentations, show websites, etc. And that's basically the technology part of the innovation that we're involved in here in Uruguay. But I think the major innovation that we're doing is that we're actually bringing remote English teachers into the primary school classrooms for the very first time for a lot of schools and children across the country where they've never had English teachers before. And you see the fascination on the kids' faces when that happens. They're just thrilled that they're actually getting English teachers. The reason why we use high-end video conferencing and high-definition cameras and monitors, etc., is because of reliability. We want to make sure that 90% of the time that we make a connection is actually made. And then the other innovation is really the classroom teachers who don't speak any English and who are actually teaching English as well. They have the lesson plans for them in Spanish, and the remote teacher coordinates with them on a weekly basis in Spanish to make sure they know what's going to happen in the lesson. So they're learning with the kids and also outside the classroom, but also they're receiving English training during the class. It's probably something which is very easy to do in Uruguay because of the size of the country. It's a very small country with a population the size of the city of Birmingham in the UK. It's quite flat as well. They've rolled out the fiber optic cable installation that's necessary for the innovation in all of the schools. There's free internet and fiber optic cables, and they also have high-end video conferencing in all of the schools as well, which makes it easier to do. I think it's something that can definitely be done in other places. What you do need is an investment if you want to do it on this scale using this kind of equipment, which is quite high. But the high quality of the image and the sound that comes into the classroom, for example, means that the teacher really does sort of come out of the screen when they speak in the classroom. I've been observing the class from the schools, and I can tell you it's almost as good as having a real teacher in the classroom. The downside is that the teacher can't move around. And then from the other side, the remote teacher side, the high definition cameras, etc., mean that the remote teacher can pick out the names, pick out the features of all of the students and know the students by name when they're watching them, which is very important, so they can create an effective bond with the students during the course of the academic year. I don't know how much time I've got left, but I think I've probably come to the end. 1 minute, okay. So let me say that the pupils and teachers are generally very thrilled about it, as are the other stakeholders in the country, the directors of the school, the parents, etc. It's really quite exciting for us because it's probably the first time in the world that this kind of teaching through video conferencing has gone ahead on such a scale. And we do think that it's possible to take it to other countries elsewhere, and not only do it for primary school teaching, but other kinds of teaching as well. In fact, we're looking into extending the program to secondary as well soon.